All right, after 2 weeks of or lots of procrastination, I don't know if it was 2 weeks. Oh, welcome to All Good Things and All Good Time. That is this channel. And thank you for watching. This is my talking story podcast. Although I don't really upload it anywhere else, so I don't know if that makes it a podcast or not, but I'm just using that word. Maybe that'll trigger the algorithms. I don't know. Anyway, I got a lot of stuff to cover. I wanted to do this last Sunday, last Friday. Anyway, thanks for your patience. Things are really good. Things are just getting better and better and better, Mike. I have just been so lucky. I can't even believe it. It's unbelievable. So cheers to you. It is, by the way, it's like 3 in the morning. And I don't know if I'm coming or going. I got a cup of coffee, good, hot, dark coffee. And I thought I'd celebrate with you with the beer. I'm drinking the Dank Full IPA, which is interesting. That is a cannabis reference. Since at least the 80s, the dank has been a word used to describe really good marijuana for decades. So Sierra Nevada is riffing, and I don't know that everybody realizes that when they see the Dank Full IPA. Anyway, it's interesting. When you double brew a beer, it contains more polyphenols after that, which are these healthy things in there. And if you do a deep dive, you'll find out that really high bitterness unit beer has healthy properties, increases bone density, mellows out people's hormones. It's good for a lot of things. Of course, in moderation, which is hard to do when the beer is 9%. Check it out. This is the best thing I've ever seen at Costco, because none of these beers suck. And usually when there's a variety pack, one of the 4 things sucks. And so you just stomach it, you know. But check it out, man. All these beers, right? Where you got 9%, 9.2%, 9%, 7.4%, and 8%. All double brewed IPAs. And notice the IBU, the International Bitterness Units. This is the biggest one at 65. And but they all have a lot of good bitterness units, which is that healthy property, which is interesting. My friends were here years ago. I think they started their own brewery since, but there was a couple, and she was the one who explained that to me, and she loved how it had all those properties. Anyway, that's how I learned that, and it's just an interesting variable. So it was Women's History Month last month, and I never did mention it, but again, if you want to look up the most gnarly, barbaric story in American history, it is the story of my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, Hannah Dustin, who the first statue in the United States of America built of a woman was in 1872 of her. And the second statue of a woman built in the United States of America in 1874 was of her. And I think there's only like 8 statues of women in the United States, which is why last year during Women's History Month, they built a bunch of statues about women. And of course, Hannah Dustin wasn't in there. But yeah, there's one on the Merrimack River, and there's one in Town Square in Haverhill, Massachusetts. That's how you say Haverhill. It's not Haverhill, it's Haverhill. Oh, all right. So unemployment ended. That sucks. Everybody is bummed. I am not as affected because of your support. You all have totally changed my life. You have bridged the gap. Of course, I didn't know my mom was going to die, and just recently I realized, I'm going to actually get a little bit of money from her. So in addition to the money I've saved, every penny I've got right now is money saved, but it's all money that came from you, the supporters of my channel, my recovery, whatever you want to call it. I am so thankful. And so if I want to be totally honest, suddenly I am definitely still want support and would like it and will invest it into my channel and all that good stuff, which is going to start to get really cool because I got some good news on that front. But the times of me worried about how I'm going to buy gas or survive, you know, I've got probably enough to survive for like a year or two. And that's if I just burn through, I don't have any rent. So I'm going to still, if I really am conservative with my funds, which God, I hate how the bastard domestic terrorists have compromised that word conservative, because there's nothing conservative about Republicans anyway. So, but yes, if I can be conservative and smart and do a bunch of things that'll be subject matter for videos, you know, cooking videos, how to save money, how not to spend money. I'm pretty good at that. And that should allow me to not have to work right away. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go back to school next fall, over the summer, try to do RAGBRAI and cover that, because that would be cool. That's the coolest thing in the country, one of the coolest things in the country in the summertime, a week-long bicycle ride across Iowa. So yeah, if you never heard of RAGBRAI, look that up. That's pretty fascinating. And I want to train for a triathlon, see if I can get through 2/3 of a triathlon. I almost did before I got kicked off because I was too slow, Ironman. And so I'd like to just get to the run. I don't mind if I get kicked off after I start the run, that's fine. But I want to survive to the run. If I could just get good enough to do that. And that would mean I have to get in great shape just to do that. So, cheers. Oh, this might be too hot. Oh, I love coffee that you cannot see through. Just dark, black coffee. Anyway, I was talking to a friend of a friend, a nice lady, and she was saying that her closest thing she has to sex in life is coffee. And I was telling her that back in my hotel room, because I love it myself. I have 12 pounds of coffee in my hotel room. She's like, you should use that as a pickup line. Anyway, I thought that was funny. So, oh, mail. I got a freaking post office box. Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. So my mail will no longer get rejected. It'll be forwarded from 149 Leo Street. And then that's good. In case anyone sends any mail there. Sorry if it got sent back to you. I haven't had a place to receive mail for 2.5 months. That's been wrecking me. Right between unemployment being canceled at the same time as they just took away mail. Like, that's all this talk about wanting to help us. If they could just kept mail going, that would have been cool. Anyway, I just paid $230 for a year for a mailbox. And yeah, so the address is 10743 Lower Hano'api'ilani, or excuse me, just Hano'api'ilani Highway. Anyway, one cool Hawaiian thing and a concert my son went to last weekend. My son is having the greatest life ever, working his ass off, getting compliments all day at work, getting 30, 33, 35 bucks an hour. Being told he's doing a good job is just making him happy. And it's allowing him to do whatever the hell he wants, which isn't really what's making me happy. But, you know, he needs to save his money. But he went and saw J Boog. And if you've never heard of J Boog, he is a really good, local, fun musician. He's got stuff you could dance to, party music. But he's got a song or two that could be argued are top 10 all-time greatest local artist songs. Like they're the kind of song you could hear them, 1,000 times and they'll still sound good. And so that's Jay Boog. He was here with Kali Buds, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. What else? Got so much to appreciate. I tell you what, thank you. So I've been placed into a new place. I got a kitchen. I'm moving in right now. I'm going to start doing cooking videos. That are also going to be the videos that show you how I'm going to save money and cook healthy food for my son. They wouldn't put me and my son together, so I have a place because I told them I needed a place for me and my son, and so they immediately started trying to find a 2-bedroom. Then they said, "Oh, come look at it," and I went there and they weren't there, and then I figured I wouldn't be able to get that one because it turns out I'm just me. Like I'm on his account and he's not on mine with FEMA, so if we were put together, he would have to pay $3,000 back to FEMA so that we could save them money. The whole thing makes no sense. So, but nevertheless, I figured that was over with. Then this lady calls, talking to my son, says, "I got a place for you." And so she sets him up. She gets him going with that place, tells him the address. So he's now waiting for the next call to be able to move in. Hasn't got it yet. But in the meantime, they're like, "I got a call. Oh, that other place is now ready. We can move you in. When do you want to move in? Tomorrow?" I was like, "Okay." So I just got keys to a 2-bedroom place all by myself. And I'm so low maintenance, I'll literally, probably, unless it's really bad, I'll probably sleep on the couch a lot, if not all the time. And there's a pull-down Murphy bed, right? There's a queen size and 2 single beds in another bedroom and 2 bathrooms on the 5th floor, looking right down the ocean. One of these older buildings that's built right up against the ocean. I mean, and it has a pool, oval shape, with 2 opposing walls. It has stairs at one end, but they were smart enough to only put them on the half of the end of the oval, so there's a wall you could do a flip turn on, so I can swim laps there, which is just a miracle. And I have to be looking for a place. I have to prove to them I'm looking for a place, and that's all I have to do, and not break any rules, and to keep the place. I don't have to be looking for a job, which is cool because I don't want to have to look for a job. And but as that goes, I think I'm gonna prepare myself and get all the work done behind the scenes to make myself able to drive Lyft or Uber, whether I do or not. I'll prepare that, and then I'm gonna try to get a banquet, casual banquet job, because there's a lot of those jobs in town, and that's the way to get in the door at a hotel, right? And those jobs, for those of you who don't know it, if you apply for a casual banquet job at your local big kick-ass hotel, when you work, the shifts will be 4 to 7 hours, and they'll pay $50 to $100 an hour. That's crazy money. So it's also a foot in the door. And then 6 months in, you get priority when you're trying to get a different job in that hotel, right? Should I want to go that route? So, and then meanwhile, I'm going to start going to school. Maybe I get some student help. I'm thinking if I fill out on an application that my house burned down in the Lahaina Fire, it'll probably help me get financial aid for school, which would be cool. Anyway, I was one class away from being admitted into the teachers program, which they're hiring for. Back in the day when I had little kids, I thought it would be the perfect complementary job as a dad, because when my kids are out of school, I'll be out of school, right? Summers and afternoons, and even though it doesn't pay very well, it really fit well with my kids' lifestyle. And since at the time my wife was making good money, would have been just perfect. So, but they had this one shitty math class, all about things to the nth degree, and man, I couldn't find a tutor for it, which is all I need. A tutor, I can learn anything if somebody teaches me. So yeah, I just couldn't get through this one math class, but I did all the other work. And I'll say it again, I said it in the past, it's interesting because I'm not highly educated, but I have 140 units completed. I completed 122 units at Santa Rosa Junior College and 18 units here at Maui Community College for a total of 104. Mind you, you need 60 units to transfer to a 4-year school and become a junior, and you need 120 units from a 4-year school to get your 4-year degree, to get a bachelor's degree. And I have 20 more units than that, all in the first 2 years of college, freshman, sophomore college courses. Anyway, but that's also because at Santa Rosa Junior College, I played 3 sports, and that just eats up units. I wrote for the Oak Leaf, the school newspaper, and that eats up units. And I was the vice president of the Associated Student, and all that student body government stuff just eats up units. So that's why I had so many units there, you know. Anyway, I think somebody might have asked, what happened to all the money? Anyway, yeah, my dad was this hardcore narcissist. So you'll see his childhood was so opulent, but he was also just broken at a young age. He was sent to military school when he was 9 years old, San Rafael Military Academy, where he was telling the future billionaire Gordon Getty to, you know, make his bed, because I think Gordon Getty was a 3rd grader. He was a 4th grader or whatever. He was a year younger. And so all these, you know, and all these guys who ended up in super prominent positions went to San Rafael Military Academy, were broken by their parents for not cleaning up their room. But yeah, my dad is a real interesting study. So yeah, anyway, he married a woman. He cheated on my mom for 27 years, and then he married one woman, and that she was a psycho, and he bailed on that. And then he married another woman, 26 years younger, who was just a submissive drunk. But she's 26 years younger. To him, he thought her looks were valuable. And yeah, so he disinherited his whole family. So all the money and he got money given to him all through his life from family money, like so much. To turn around and disinherit his great-grandchildren, his grandchildren, and of course his children as well. Good thing is I realized that before he died, and I told him what a piece of shit he was. So he knew. He deserved to be told that, I tell you what. But sad. So, beautifully though, ironically, the one thing that the gold digger didn't want, right? She took he had collections of everything, and it was all valuable, like vintage World War II posters that were worth $5,000 and shit. Everything he had was worth money. Guns, old toys, old cap guns, Captain Midnight decoder badges, whatever. My dad was a collector. And the one thing she didn't want was these movies that were, family memorabilia, because that doesn't have any value. You can't sell that, right? And so what if someday I generate an income from posting or sharing or letting someone utilize my grandpa's home movies, and there's 300 different locations covered on these movies. Sometimes it's just 30, 45 seconds of, a place, or 2 or 3 minutes of a place. But damn, no one else was walking around with the best camera equipment and traveling the whole world. So this footage is so kick-ass. And I never met my grandpa. I knew my grandma. She lived till she was 100. So that was its own amazing thing. But him, I never met him. He died well before I was born. So seeing all these motion pictures of my grandpa are just super cool. And all of it. Anyway, so by the way, I think I should again explain this, because there's people from around the world watching my show, and they don't know American references. So when I say put a little mustard on it, it is just an old saying, put a little mustard on it, but I have memories of John Madden saying that about, Joe Montana on Monday Night Football, when he makes a touchdown pass, or whoever. I don't know. I remember who it was exactly, but I remember him saying, and then turned to like Brent Musburger and going, You know, put a little mustard on it, you know? That's what he did there. Anyway, so, yeah. So we're putting a little bit of mustard on this podcast. I just want you to know. Cheers. This has now become my breakfast because it is 3:43 in the morning. All right. Love you guys. All right. So let's see. Oh, so investing money. Important subject. Because I'm about to get my son, hopefully he'll start saving his money after he's on a stupid cruise. That's another subject, man. I was just yelling at him and his friend. You guys, no more of these stupid cruises. They're going to collectively spend 10 grand in 10 days. 5 grand each. Now, 1,200 of it is lost wages that they could have earned, right, or more. On top of the, 4 grand it's going to cost. They went on a cruise. They had to fly to freaking Florida to start the cruise. $1,500 in plane tickets. The cruise is another more than $1,500. God, stupid. My son's only been working for 3 months and he needed to go on a vacation. No. Last year he did the same damn thing, and then he was in debt to his friend for like 6 months before he could finally start to save money. Like, that's not how you start out. Not to mention, he's only been working for a couple months and he lives on the beach in Maui. Like you need to go on a cruise or take a vacation. My God. We're in a hotel room. If you want to take some time off from work, just stay here and save 5 grand. And let me add 5 grand to it and then start you a brokerage account. Literally cost him 10 grand. 10 grand that in 30 years would be 200 grand, right? 2 years off. 104 weeks of vacation, right, is what he gave up. If you estimate 2 good years of vacation being worth 100 grand a year, he gave up 104 weeks of vacation for 1 week now when he didn't need it. God. Anyway, that's my stupid son and his stupid friend, and they are just blowing it because they need to start working towards their future, preparing for, who knows what. And like I was telling him, right, you don't got to buy a house with a woman someday, with your wife. You two guys, they both make 60 grand a year, right? They should be buying a house together, 2 buddies. That combined 120 grand a year, that's $10,000 a month. That means you can get a loan for 3 grand, for a month, which if it was 3% interest rates again, that'd be servicing the debt on $1 million. So, they can qualify to buy a house in a heartbeat. All they got to do is keep working, saving their money, and develop a little bit of good credit. That's it. And then they're qualified. And they're both local boys, born and raised. They could get in on some of this discounted housing, workforce housing. Anyway, but they got to prepare themselves for that. So, but let's talk about investing money real quick. All right, this is everything you need to know. I once took 6 classes from the same philosophy instructor, Dr. Steve Bernstein at Santa Rosa Junior College, greatest instructor in the world. I had all these tapes of his lectures that burned up in the fire, and that is one of my biggest heartbreaks. But one of the things he liked to talk about was how, like a good teacher is not one that just makes you more dependent upon them, right? Like, some people make you more dependent on them to get closer to heaven, or for the answers to all your questions about something, or whatever. You see it all the time. Oh, I give you financial advice or give you inspirational advice. You just got to pay more money and spend more time with me. Yeah. So anyway, the goal here is the opposite. Okay, in 5 minutes, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about how to invest money for yourself, and then we're going to go about the slow process of doing this all together. I'll tell you what I'm doing, but it's just something that you need to do in your own way. It's like an expression of yourself, and it'll keep your mind sharp because you'll start studying some shit that you didn't have a reason to study before, but now you do because it pays you to do it. Like, don't think that you have to trust some financial advisor for advice on this sort of thing. I may not know how to get my YouTube channel monetized, but I do know the stock market, okay? I've been following the stock market since 1985, okay? I remember the 1987 crash. I remember the recession in the early 90s. I remember the .com crash, the real estate crash, the Donald Trump fucking dumb shit crash, which nobody even talks about it. And way more money was just given to Wall Street to prop the stock market back up than was given to people like me on unemployment. And all these assholes love to complain about, oh, too much money was